went military, things are going well, you're competing.
Yes.
I mean, to the level where you're actually winning shows, and then something rocks your world. With, you know, in your case, it was, you know, thyroid medical. It kind of set you back, but you know, we all get setbacks, and kind of sometimes that sends us down the wrong path.
What matters is you wake up every day, understand that I'm religious, so God came into my life, a big part of this road trip in the last 73 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it was Ed Milet that I heard this from, but he said, God did not wake you up today because he wanted to wake you up. God woke you up today because someone needed you in this world today.
All right, welcome again to another episode of the KB Article. I'm joined with Kyle Kinsler, my co-host, and excited about today. We've got a guest that I think is really going to add value to the community. One, because they're an entrepreneur, but two, you know, they've really experienced some of the ups, downs, the sideways, the movement of the life and mindset of an entrepreneur and business owner, and just an overall competitor. So without further ado, we're excited to welcome Clint Riggin with Limitless Coaching to the podcast. Welcome, Clint.
Chad, Kyle, thank you so much. I mean,
Hello.
it's an honor and a blessing to be here, truly. And you talk about the ups and downs, and I can't wait to get into that because it's been a roller coaster ride. Let's just say that.
Yeah, man. Well, it's you know, I've had the pleasure at least witnessing some of your story as being members of Apex and a community together. I don't know that we had, maybe we met, shook hands at an event or something, but I didn't really get to know you other than through what you shared on social. And I tell you, you know, heck of a business owner, but you got a story that I think is compelling and will help so many. So you spent, what, 8 years in the military? So you are ex-military. You got into kind of the fitness game and to compete at a high level, and then decided to turn that into a business, and through that process, some ebbs and flows. Can you just kind of give us a bullet point, kind of share your history and your background with us?
For sure. Yeah. So I joined the military in 2011. I was 17 years old. I left the small town of Pennsylvania that I was in, went to boot camp, and then was told I'm going to be an aviation structural mechanic. So went to work on helicopters for 2 years when I was in Washington State. And then I moved over to actually work on MH-60 Romeos, which is another sort of helicopter in Hawaii for 6 years. So a total of 8 years. You say again, Kyle?
Yeah, it was very nice. Hawaii.
Yeah. It was incredible. And let me correct myself. F-18s in Washington. I just realized F-18s in Washington, MH-60 Romeos in Hawaii. And I started working out when I joined the military. That was really when I started to get my first little hint of what that's like, because I was small when I was in high school. I got picked on a lot, for sure. And for me, it was like, I always wanted to be that bigger guy, because I was like, man, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna show these guys what I'm made of. I mean, I never hurt anybody, or never got any fights, but
I've seen some pictures of you lately, you know, and you're definitely not just a from the butt up kind of guy. I mean, you're from, you know, I mean, huge legs, and you're all the way around, and then you went out and you began competing and such once you got out.
So like when I got to Hawaii, that's what I learned what competition was, and that's what I learned what like bodybuilding truly was. I met my first coach. We stepped on stage in 2015. Did absolutely horrible because I was against NPC competitors that were on so much gear that I was like, man, I'm just this small little guy up here. I'm flexing, and then nothing's happening because like these guys just outweigh me. They're bigger than me. They're leaner than me, whatever it might be. So the next year I said, okay, I'm going to take it up a notch. That's when I started to introduce myself to PEDs and started to train super hard. And I realized like what my potential was when it came to getting on stage and making that next step. Well, then take it to 2018, because then I went on deployment that next year, couldn't compete. I said, okay, I'm going to win this show. Sean Ray 2018, I'm going to win. Step on stage, won the competition, felt amazing, was in incredible shape. 3 months later, my thyroid stops working completely. Gained 45 pounds, went suicidal, put a gun to my head, didn't know what I wanted to do. My testosterone levels were 237. Like I was going through hell and back, for sure. 6 months it took me to get my levels back to normal. and for the doctors to truly realize that I had a problem, because I told them multiple times, but if you know anything about thyroid or anything about hormones, you need to get your blood work checked every 6 weeks to see how it normalizes in your bloodstream with the new medication they put you on. So just imagine 6 weeks of just not knowing, 6 weeks of not knowing, just continuing to go back. And then finally, I started to feel better. I got off the medication, so on and so forth. But I got kicked out of the military for drugs because I was partying during that time. And I got an honorable discharge, thank the Lord. You know, it was a blessing in disguise. But when I got out, I moved to California, and I was with the wrong people. I was working in the club, you know, still partying, still doing all these things. And I moved from California to Orlando for a woman, which was also a partier. So you can see how this just keeps going through party stages, right? Like I haven't learned my lesson yet. Then I finally learned my lesson because I'm in Orlando. I'm on a couch. I literally was in an apartment, and I got pushed to a couch, my best friend's couch, and that's where Limitless Coaching started. That's where I said, okay, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to start Limitless Coaching. I'm going to create a fitness coaching business that does more than just fitness coaching. I want to incorporate meals that I can deliver to you. I want to incorporate hormone replacement therapy that you can have access to nationwide. I want to incorporate supplementation with First Form that I'm going to send to you as well. So it's like you get a full package, starter package when you start the program. And it's a lot more than just here's a fitness plan, here's a nutrition plan, here's your life. Like this is what
kind
you're
of
going to do.
whole scope. So let me jump back. Let me jump back a little bit because I don't want to get into the good part of the story, right? The turnaround quite so fast. So, I mean, for our listener, you know, you went military, things are going well, you're competing. Then, I mean, to the level where you're actually winning shows, and then something rocks your world. With, you know, in your case, it was, you know, thyroid medical. It kind of set you back, but you know, we all get setbacks, and kind of sometimes that sends us down the wrong path. So you got out of the military, honorably discharged, and then kind of continued to live a life that wasn't really taking you many places. Moved to Orlando. I mean, you said you changed, but what triggered that change? Was it an inner dialogue? Was it a mentor? Was it just, man, I've had enough? Or if I don't change, I'm going to be dead?
Yeah, I came to the realization if I do not change, then I won't be here. You know, I was literally partying every single weekend, and I was just doing enough cocaine to, you know, for more than one person. Let's just say that. And I was hanging around with the same people, around the same like groups of people that were doing nothing with their life. And one friend told me, he's like, hey, man, listen, like you have so much potential in you. I hope you know that. And I looked at myself, and I looked at myself in the mirror one time. I remember this, and I said, Clint, you got to change. You got to change, man. You have so much to give in this world. And it's that one person that had the belief in me, that have the belief in others now in the coaching that I do, that they can change. And I think that was probably the most impactful thing that happened in my life when it comes to that.
It was that one person, you said?
Yeah, it was that one person that believed in me.
That's awesome.
Really cool.
You know, I can relate, not quite as hardcore, but you know, I got around the wrong circle in high school. Kind of carried that through to college. Not that they were bad people, but they were just going in different directions than I. But I stuck on that same train until I was like 32, 33, 34, and drinking and partying over the weekend. You know, you go to social events for business, whatever, networking, it's drinking, everything involved alcohol. And, you know, it was actually my wife that confronted me on that and called, hey, bullshit. This is real. You need to change. And, you know, it wasn't overnight, but sometimes it's that person, whether it be a spouse, significant other, somebody in a community or group, man, your circle is so important. And so I don't think I went down some of the roads you did, but yeah, I mean, very easily could have, I guess. So
for sure.
So you got through that, and then I saw you kind of like on Apex when through Apex. That was around 19 or 20, I think.
21.
Okay, 21 is when you came in. So
Mhm.
between 18 and 21, what happened? What was the transformation that?
No, the shift.
Yeah.
Well, from 18 to 21, I was still partying.
Okay.
Well, this is
Like,
not
so
that long ago.
yeah, 2018 to 2021, I was still partying. 2021 is when I really made that change. I remember Charles Rizak, he's an Apex too. I'm not sure if you know him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He does big insurance for big companies now. We started a real estate investment firm. We were doing wholesaling. We had like 8 employees. Had no idea what I was doing. No idea about real estate. We just got into it. We're like, dude, we can wholesale. Saw a couple TikTok videos. We're like, yeah, we can do this. This is awesome. And then I realized like I need to either focus on limitless coaching or I need to focus on wholesaling because I can't do both. There's just no way. I can't give that much energy into both of those companies. So I had to make a decision and I focused on Limitless. And when I got into Apex, you talk about like surrounding yourself with winners. Dude. Man, those are some winners in there. Like I felt small compared to the people that I talked to in there. Of course, when you first start too, and you learn about building your machine, you got to post every day and like your content and like how this all matters. And to me, I was just thinking like why does it matter that I got to post every day? Like why does it matter that I got to tell a story? And then I realized that vulnerability is relatability. Because I remember I made one post, I got 150 comments, and then I got like 20 calls booked from that one post. Because you never know what people are going through, That's the craziest thing. So I tell everybody, like, tell your story. Doesn't matter how small it is, doesn't matter how big it is. Somebody needs you in this world.
Right.
Every day.
Right.
Yeah.
So evidently you come through kind of a, you're coming around and you've identified as like, you need that discipline every day. So how do you keep yourself going on that? And that's one of the things that we have in our mantra is just kind of, and any real successful entrepreneur has to have that discipline to get up and get going every day. Myself, my father was a person that and for the most part, he laid in bed for 30 years. I mean, he went from very successful. And I never knew exactly how did that happen, but he laid in bed and I catch myself sometimes like, it's so nice here, but you got to get that reason to get up and get going every day. So how does that discipline or what does it look like? Or what do you do to make yourself go every day?
So let me talk about the discipline that I had a year ago, right? When I started Limitless Coaching, and then the discipline that I have now, because it's completely different. The discipline I had before was wake up at 3:30 every single morning at a 4 a.m. operations meeting. And then I had meetings from 8 till 6 p.m. every single day. Okay. I work out after that 4 a.m. operations meeting, I go to the gym or I go to cycle class, and then I have meetings all day long. And then I wouldn't stop until like 8 p.m. most of the time, right? So just think about how much you're working at that point. Right? I think I was doing, I don't know, like on the weekends too. Like it didn't matter. I was working like 120 hours a week, something roughly around that. But I thought that was the entrepreneur dream. I thought that was what I needed to do. I thought I needed to hop in a cold bath, and I thought I needed to hop in the sauna in the morning, and I needed to read my 50 pages of my book, and like, all of these things that they tell you to do, because that's what you have to do to be a millionaire. And I thought that's what success was.
Right.
What I realized as I went through a 12-month depression, the last 12 months of my life, and 85 days ago, I was in psychiatric VA, that I was going to kill myself because of that depression, that none of that matters. None of that truly matters.
Yeah.
What matters is you wake up every day, understand that I'm religious. So God came into my life, a big part of this road trip in the last 73 days. And I believe it was Ed Milet that I heard this from, but he said, God did not wake you up today because he wanted to wake you up. God woke you up today because someone needed you in this world today. And when I heard that, it hit me because you just don't understand how many people needed me at a time when I was so low in my life. And how many people reached out to me and I didn't reach back out to them. So discipline in me now is, first of all, God has given you one vessel, one body. You need to make it the best you can possibly make it, 100%. If that's your nutrition, your fitness, your cardio, whatever it might be, whatever you love to do that. You don't have to go work out. I don't have to go lift 495 pounds anymore. I don't care about that. I don't care about stepping on stage anymore. None of that really. I did all that. You know, I got the trophies. It was amazing, incredible. I'm just not at that part of my life anymore. Right. For me, it's about functionality, functional fitness. Looking good is a byproduct of everything that I do. Like I've been on 75 hard for the last 22 days. Today's the 22nd day while I've been on this trip.
Nice.
Because I want to challenge myself. And Charles, you know, challenged me and was like, hey man, you do 75 hard while you're there. I was like, do you know how much other stuff I'm doing? Like, yeah, let me just add this to my plate. But the discipline you talk about is doing 75 hard, right? It's getting workout in, getting the walk in outside, making sure you read your pages of your book, making sure you get a gallon of water, making sure you follow a meal plan.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
No, that's awesome. And I'm familiar with 75 hard. Kyle he's seen me go through it a couple of times, but it's a different type of discipline, you know, and I'm glad you brought that up, because it's when people see 75 hard, they're thinking, oh, you're just a fitness nut. You're going and grinding that hard. You know, that's not sustainable. That's not a life. That's not. I can get that from the outside looking in, but I can tell you what, in 2019, from the first time I did 75 hard, I still use my power list every single day in my little notebook here. Every single day, I carry this everywhere I go, and it keeps me productive. Is it every day? No, but I tell you what, I'm winning at least 4 or 5 out of 7 days, right? Even if I'm not on the program. So regarding whether it's 75 hard or just some challenge, can you speak to the mental side of that program or like challenges? Because I think the listeners, you know, so many times we say we can't do that because we don't have time. We're grinding hard. Well, that's exactly why you need to do it, because FYE, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you say FYE, fuck your excuses, 100%. But in the fitness and nutrition side and all of these things, it's not for your fitness and nutrition. It's for your mindset. Because I can tell you right now, I'm mentally better off than I was before. I have more clarity in my life. I'm clearer headed. I have better focus every single day. I wake up with more energy every day. And I'm driven to do something more than when I was laying in bed till 6 p.m., not doing a single thing with my life, eating Uber Eats every day, and literally just struggling to get out of my room or turn on the light in the shower because I didn't want to look at myself in the mirror. Like the mental attributes that come with this, the clarity, the things that you get from just literally working out every day. They say that depression can be solved by exercise. Right. If you would get up and put one foot in front of the other, you can solve your depression. Now, the hardest part is getting out of that darkness, and starting those steps, because you know you're about to change everything in your life that you're comfortable with to being uncomfortable. And people in this world, they don't want to be uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is a weird feeling to them. They have never been there, right? They love to live their normal life. They go to work, they work their 9 to 5, they come home, they see their children, they eat dinner, they go to bed, they do it all over again. Right. So for people to do 75 hard and do it correctly, let me say that, correctly, because I know you guys know people that have done 75 hard and they just did it, they got a little check-in box, and they can tell their friends, and they can let everybody know, hey guys, listen, I did 75 hard, you know, I'm a badass. Let me pat myself on the back real quick. Now I'm gonna go eat my cake and my pizza, and I'm gonna go live my life to the fullest like I was before, but you learn nothing from that. Yeah. That's the messed up part when it comes to discipline.
Now you speak oftentimes about, and I've noticed real recently as far as your spiritual growth every day, and you know, something I've been struggling with, not so much my spiritual growth, but how do you deal with and I don't mean so much to get off the subject, and this is just something that kind of bothered me here lately, but and as a believer and as Christians, and I think we're all here that we're all Christians. Or how do you deal with people that aren't Christians and that maybe they don't share the same values that you do, especially if you're, we're trying to build God's kingdom,
right? And
I really, and I myself, I get most of my strength through prayer.
Yeah.
And just, being in the Word and just, being there and asking what God wants to, put on my heart that day. And like this morning, I went to my wife and I told her, I says, I got this going on, I got that going on. And I knew it. She goes, well, let me sit down and let me, let's see what God has to say. And I knew before she cracked the book that she was going to talk about what was going on in my life. And then the scripture just came out, and it was exactly, so this is what I'm dealing with. And it's just, what irony is that in there? And it's so powerful that you already know that God speaks to you every day through that. And I guess you don't oftentimes see that when you're, if you're not, if you're not a Christian, if you don't follow Christ or whatever it may be. But sometimes I get following people that maybe they don't have the same disciplines we do in that respect, and maybe they're not Christians. But how do you how do you deal with people that live by a different playbook?
First of all, thank you for sharing that. That's very vulnerable for someone to say something like that. So I appreciate that. Second of all, I've learned that you cannot change who does not want to change, right? I learned it through my depression when I didn't want to get out of bed, and I had my best friend knock on my door every single day trying to get out of bed. I had to make that change within myself. So I believe the only thing that we can truly do is speak to others about God, about religion. And if they want to learn more, if they want to follow, then they will. Simple as that. But I ask God every day, and I pray to put the right people in front of me.
I think that
my help. It'd be my help, or somebody that needs a message from me. And I believe, God speaks through you in a lot of different ways. And I've realized that on this trip, I've had divine appointments. I'm sure you know what this is. The right people come into your life at the right time because they need to hear something from you. You need to hear something from them, whatever it might be. It has happened countless times on this trip. And all I started to do is listen and pray.
And I love what you're doing, that you're going on the trip. And I wish it's got to be so fulfilling. And then we can talk a little bit more to that you're on this trip, and you're out talking to people. You're out putting, every day that you're getting in front of people that that are like-minded, or maybe they're not so much, but you're getting in front of people and just seeing God's work that's working in you and letting him kind of take in the wheels, and that you have that sort of faith that you're taking this trip. And man, I'm I guess not envious is the right word, but man, I wish I
you are. Yeah, you are. I can see now Kyle and Terry doing a mission trip across the United States after tax season this year. I know it's coming. It's coming.
But I love what it is that you're doing, and it can be so fulfilling and such a renewal in what it is that you're living your best life. And
the biggest thing, I wasn't going to go on this trip. This is an ultimatum for me. My best came to me and said, "Hey, Clint, listen, I'm leaving." I thought he was going back to Spain. That's where he's from. And he said, "I'm going on a road trip. I want you to come with me." And in my mind, I was like, dude, I'm in my comfy little bedroom. Nobody's bothering me. I'm living my best life. And then I did it, and honestly, it's the best thing I could have ever done.
Right.
Because it showed me how valuable life is, how much you have to live for. And we made it so, like, discipline, you talk about discipline, we made it so, hey, listen, we're going to read Men in Leadership every single day. It's Bible quotes, right? And it talks about leadership. So we're going to implement that every day. Right. Then we're going to get up at 6 a.m. We're going to get up before the sun every day. Okay, we're going to work out every day. I don't care how you feel. You're going to work out every day. Okay, you're going to follow a nutrition plan. He's on prep for a competition in 5 months. I want you to hear how full circle this is. I met him. I was competing in that competition 2.5 years ago. Okay.
Oh, wow.
He drove me to that competition. He was driving Uber. When I met him, he said, I didn't have a car. I couldn't get to the gym. He drove me to the gym so I could prepare for my competition. I got him out of the depressive state he was in during that time. He got me out of the depressive state I was in. And he's competing in that same competition.
Oh, wow.
And he's going to win. He's going to win 100%. So
well,
like when you think about like the people in your life, and the greatest thing about Apex is when I first got in there, I said, hey man, I want 15 connections every single week. I want to learn about you. I want to see how I can help you. And I don't want anything from you. And I lost that when I was depressed. I lost all of that because I didn't want to talk to anybody because I was ashamed, because I was at this point in my life and now I'm here. And why would people want to talk to me? Because I'm nobody. But what you don't realize is people don't care about what you did or what you're doing. They care about you as a person.
Right.
That's the one thing I had to realize. Like fitness and nutrition, I cared about my body. That's all I cared about was my body. I cared about how I looked in the mirror and how much I could flex and put on Instagram. And I thought I was going to get all the clients in the world. What I realized is me being me, telling my story, people reach out to you because they truly want to know you as a person. Right. Not for you and your edited pictures and what you're posting.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. The whole path to get to where you're at now, the ebbs and flows, ups and downs. I mean, you had a very successful business, probably still do, but kind of burned a little bit of it down by going through these episodes.
Oh, well, dude, listen, like it burned to the ground.
It burned. Okay, I was trying to be nice.
It's still there. It's still there. The LLC is still there, but like it was put on the bookshelf. Now I'm taking it off the bookshelf.
Yeah.
Opening up the book. I'm starting to write new chapters.
That was my question. So
yeah,
I know Limitless Coaching is still there. I saw what you did and some of the results that you provided, but
yeah,
how we've got about 5 minutes left.
For sure.
How does that look different now coming through this season in your life? How does that look now? And what would be some things that you would say to younger entrepreneurs or just entrepreneurs or people in general that are going through challenges?
Yep.
Talking about putting the book on the shelf, but now we're taking it down and we're writing more chapters, better chapters, right?
Yeah. Every day you have a chance to write a new chapter in your book, right? Every day you have the pen. So you have the chance to write whatever you want, however you want moving forward. Now, let me tell you this. What I learned is fitness and nutrition is great, but that's not all that encompasses life. So I'm taking Limitless Coaching, I'm turning it into the Limitless experience. If I have 5 minutes, you said? Your listeners can do this, or you can do this too while we're here. If you take a piece of paper right now and you write family, fitness, focus, finance, faith. Those 5 things, right? And what you're going to do is you go
family, fitness, what was that?
Family, fitness, focus, finance, faith.
Sure. Yep.
Okay, beautiful. Now you're going to rate yourself 1 through 10 in each one of those areas.
Yeah.
Okay. Once you rate yourself 1 through 10, you're going to add those up.
Okay.
Okay. You're going to add those numbers up. Now you're going to divide that by 50. So I'm going to give you a example, right? So 25 divided by 50. 25 divided by 50 is 0.5, right? You multiply that by 100, that's 50%. That means you're giving 50% in your life right now, in all areas of those of your life. Now, what if you can give 80%? What if you can give 85%? What if you can give 90%? Right? You're not going to give 100% because you're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. You will never give 100%. But what we can do is we can identify the areas that you need work in, and we can give you the coaching that you need to get you to that area and give you the Rolodex of people that you need in your life to make those next steps or make those connections. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take care of the fitness nutrition side of things. I'm going to have coaches that take care of the family, the faith, and the finances. Those people are going to work with you for 6 months. I'm only going to take on 10 people every 6 months. And then I'm going to take on another 10 people. So that's 20 people a year, because I realized I can only give so much to somebody, and I want to give my all to those 10 people. Because I don't know about you, but what I find in coaching programs, they get too big. They get too big, and then they're too saturated, and you don't get the help that you need.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Listen, you get money hungry, you want to keep growing, you got more packages, you got more tiers. You don't get the one-on-one that you really deserve.
Yeah.
So how can you do it?
That's admirable. I like that approach, and it's more focused on impact than padding the bank, right? It's focused on changing lives and really helping people.
No, I love that.
Life.
Yeah.
I love that. We do the same thing in business. In fact, I did one on the EOS process here, and I was rereading the book here a few weeks ago, and I said, this is where we were then, and then this is where we're now, and it went up about 30%. You just made it very simple, and how that applies to yourself and your own personal growth. I love that, and that's something that I can follow, and that's something you can do immediately and take score, and then come back to that and see where you are, over a period of time. So thank you very much for that, Clint. I think we need to, we definitely we'd love to have you back here if we possibly can. I'm sorry, everybody, the audio and the video isn't what it should be on this. And I think, Clint, you got so many good things to say and tell. And I think, and I can really tell that what you say, it's coming from the heart. And I wish you the very best in everything that you do, and the way that you inspire everybody to come along and do what it is you do to live your best life that you can, and be the best version of yourself. And you're doing great at just keep killing it.
Yeah, I echo exactly what Kyle said. Hey, Clint, real quick before we bounce off, where can people find you or reach out that feel like they may need to connect, or at least just hear some more of your story, or see how you can help them?
Yeah, awesome. So Clint Riggin, Clint_Riggin for Instagram. And then you can just look me up as Clint Riggin on Facebook, and I'll be right there. You can look up the Living Limitless podcast. I'm actually going to start interviewing guests. So you guys, if you look to be the first ones on there, let's do it. We can set that up and I want to start, because just getting on podcasts and telling my story has really reignited that fuel for me to have guests on my podcast and hear their story, because I love that. Honestly,
it's the same for us, man, because everybody, we all as humans, especially entrepreneurs in business, we can relate to each other's stories to a certain extent, and sharing it, helps us help folks out there that follow us avoid some of the mistakes and maybe take advantage of some of the successes that we had and short circuit their path, or shorten their path to success. So, man, Clint, we appreciate you, brother. Hope you guys wishing you guys all the best on the remainder of your trip. I know you got several more weeks left, but it's inspiring. We'll be following you, and look forward to maybe connecting and having you back down the road, brother.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Chad. Kyle, thank you so much, guys. Have a blessed day.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye now.